Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Rama
Nasi Maharaj ki, Samaveda Bhaktivedanta ki, who goes to some of the devotees, Hare Krishna, who goes to some of the devotees, Hare Krishna, who goes to some of the devotees, Hare Krishna, who goes to Shiva, Shiva, who goes to Shiva.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste volume just a bit up. Haribo? 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 Yeah, that should be okay. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodhana Dana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Munatira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Ayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodhanandana Raja Jana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Jayo Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo. Gaura Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you for this opportunity to share Harikatha. Today we are speaking on the 70th verse of the second chapter. So we're going to read the Sanskrit and go through the translation and purports. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudram apa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve shashantim apnuti na kammakami. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudram apaha pravishanti yadvat Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve Shashantim apnuti na kama kami Apuryamanam achala pratishtam Samudram apaha pravishanti advat Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve Shashantim apnuti na kammakami Apuryamanam achala pratishtam Samudram apaha pravishanti advat Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve Shashantim apnuti na kammakami Apuryamanam achala pratishtam Samudram apaha pravishanti advat Tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve Shashantim apnuti kammakami. Mother? Word for word. Apuryamanam, always being filled. Achala pratistam, steadily situated. Samudram, the ocean. Apaha, waters. Pravishanti, enter. Yadvat, as. Tadvat, so. Kamaha, desires. Yam, unto whom. Pravishanti, enter. Sarve, all. Saha, that person. Shantim, peace. Apnuti, achieves. Na, not. Kama kami, one who desires to fulfill desires. Purport and translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled, but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Now we go into the purport. Although the vast ocean is always filled with water, it is always, especially during the rainy seasons, being filled with much more water, but the ocean remains the same, steady. It is not agitated, nor does it cross beyond the limit of its brink. That is also true of a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. As long as one has the material body, the demands of the body for sense gratification will continue. The devotee, however, is not disturbed by such desires because of his fullness. A Krishna conscious man is not in need of anything because the Lord fulfills all his material necessities. Therefore, he is like the ocean, always full in himself. Desires may come to him like the waters of the river that follow into the ocean, but he is steady in his activities, and he is not even slightly disturbed by desires for sense gratification. That is the proof of a Krishna conscious man, one who has lost all inclination for material sense gratification, although the desires are present. Because he remains satisfied in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, he can remain steady, like the ocean, and therefore enjoy full peace. Others, however, who want to fulfill desires, even up to the limit of liberation, what to speak of material success, never attain peace. The fruitive workers, the salvationists, and also the yogis, who are after mystic powers, are all unhappy because of unfulfilled desires. But the person in Krishna consciousness is happy in the service of the Lord, and he has no desire to be fulfilled. In fact, he does not even desire liberation from the so-called material bondage. The devotee of Krishna has no material desire, and therefore are perfect in peace. We repeat the translation. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that, like rivers, enter into the ocean, which is ever being filled, but is always still. He alone can achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-jala-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Chichaitanya-manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeyam Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakam Malam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Tamsa Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishekam Vitamscha Ye Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanshakal Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Rama Hare Hare. So today I chose to speak about integrity in relationship to this verse, especially spiritual integrity. And it's mentioning in this purport our Krishna conscious person, one who has spiritual integrity, who is faithful to the instructions of his spiritual master and the parampara, is not disturbed by the ever-flowing river of material desires. He is steady, he is fixed, and he is integral in purpose, always faithful. So a question that may come from this reading is, how can one be free from such desires? I think it's quite a natural question that we would put. And there's the last verse of 3rd chapter, verse 43, might give us a clue of how can one become free from such flow of desires. It says, thus knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind and intelligence, O mighty Arjuna, one should steady the mind by spiritual intelligence, and with spiritual strength conquer the insatiable enemy of lust. So there's a few clues here. The first one is knowing oneself to be transcendental. So this will help us to overcome desire. And the second one, firm intelligence, steady in purpose. And the third one, spiritual strength. So I'm gonna bring the focus to understanding our transcendental self as the first point. It needs to come with us. Otherwise we cannot go. We need to go fully. Otherwise, it's like an anchor that is holding us back and restraining our possible the possibility of our relation to God. Another point is by examining our devotional integrity, we welcome the light to enter. When we start looking how integral we are in our purpose, we open space for the grace to come and shatter away our false constructions of self. And then when that mercy comes, our hearts starts to be transformed. Our fears start to dissipate, and our need to control fades away. We just need one thing, is the courage, the fearlessness to turn and address the shadow that we have been denying to ourselves. If we do this, the doors we once closed would open again and welcome us to the sanctuary of healing communion. The greatest act of courage any person could make is to resolve to approach God in true prayer. To begin this work means to truly stake everything against the most deep-rooted primeval instinct of self-preservation. Even though we very deeply inside of us have eternal relationship with Krishna, we have repressed so many fears, so many shadows that are weighting us down, dragging us from attaining our eternal relationship with Him, realization of our eternal relationship. So the necessity is there to look inside us, see where am I failing towards my purpose to please Lord Gauranga? Where is my integrity lacking? And we'll see there's many things to heal. There's many things to integrate within us. And if we are really sincere and honest, we'll look to all the fears, all the insecurities that we have cast aside in a corner of our subconscious mind. Those fears, those shadows hidden in the back of our closet are an instrument for our self-realization. They are a trampoline, something which will pull us up when we fully engage that in Krishna's service. So we do need to look into those shadows and integrate them so that we can be full in our prayer and in our purpose. There was once Krishna requested Satyajit to give him the Shiamantaka Jewel. And Satyajit refused because he was too greedy, he was attached to that jewel. So he did not give. Later on, his brother, Prashena, he went hunting in the forest and he carried this jewel with him. Prashena was hunted by a tiger and killed, and so was his horse. So he never returned. And after some time waiting, Satyajit started accusing Krishna. You stole my jewel. You killed my brother because you wanted this jewel. Where is my brother? So king left with a group of people to look for Prashena in the forest. And he found the dead. Yeah. Exactly. He went to the forest to look for the brother. And he found him dead with his horse. And a few hundreds of meters away, he found the tiger which has been killed by Jambavan. So this tiger, he took the jewel. And when Jambavan killed the tiger, Jambavan took the jewel. He found the jewel and gave the Shiamantaka jewel to his child. So while Krishna was roaming in the forest with his associates, he asked them to stay in a cave in safety. And he went on with his quest to find this jewel. Eventually he found his little children and he was playing with this jewel. Immediately Krishna recognized by the shining glance of the jewel what it was all about. When Krishna tried to address the child and ask for the jewel, he didn't give it. Immediately started crying, making noise, trouble. So Jambavan came. Jambavan decided to fight with the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, and that fight lasted for 28 days. But after a while he saw he was getting weak, and he started to recognize the supremacy of the Lord. So with folded hands he prayed, and he recognized Sri Krishna's position as the Supreme Controller. And he kindly, humbly gave him the jewel back, the Shiamantaka jewel, which Krishna brought back to Satyajit, who was very pleased and gave him his daughter, Satyabhama. This was first time. And then again, Krishna left to Hastinapur because the Pandavas were in trouble. As soon as Krishna left, Satadanva decided to kill the king, Satyajit, Satyabhama's father, and stole the jewel. He was impelled by grace, by Akrura, impelled to greed, to get that jewel. And he saw that opportunity, so he killed the king, he took the jewel, and he ran away. Now Satyabhama was desolated. Her heart was broken. Her life was gone, and she immediately went to Hastinapur. And at the lotus feet of Shri Krishna, she begged for help. for rescue, because Krishna is the ultimate shelter of his devotees. So Krishna is impelled by the desire of the devotees, and he returned to Dwarka, and he pursued Satadanva. Satadanva, as soon as he knew about this, he decided to give the jewel to Akrura, and he fled for his life. But Krishna is the almighty controller. He caught him and cut off his head. When Akrura and his brother heard about this, they decided to leave. They ran for their lives before it's too late. So they are far, far away. And Kashi. They left to Kashi, okay. And at this time where they left and Krishna was in Dwarka, there was a drought in Dwarka. So because of this drought, they didn't know what to do to resolve this problem. So they remembered that Akrura had once solved a drought that lasted 12 years by giving his daughter in marriage. So they decided to call Akrura to come. And so Krishna did call Akrura. And because of his omnipotence, he knew Akrura had the jewel that was given to him by the thief Satadanva. So Krishna was kind. He didn't request the jewel. He just said, please give me the jewel so I show to my relatives. Because he was being blamed. And it's written in the 48th verse of the 57th chapter. For the second time, doubts about the Lord's reputation occasioned by the Shiamantaka Jewel are dispelled by the jewel itself. Indeed, for the second time, the Lord brought the jewel back to Dwarka to establish his integrity there. This amazing series of incidents demonstrate that even when Lord Krishna descends to this world, there is a tendency for his peers to criticize him. The whole material world is infected by a fault-finding propensity. And in this chapter, the Supreme Lord demonstrates the nature of this undesirable quality. So how is this related to integrity? Is many times our purpose will be challenged. And Krishna himself is showing by example. He's the Supreme Lord, beloved to all his devotees, and still his associates are questioning him. Still his peers, his relatives, his friends and wives are questioning his integrity, are questioning his truthfulness. And Krishna goes to all endeavors to prove his integrity of heart, to prove his innocent position. He went to the forest. He went to look for Satadanva. He went always to look for the jewel, and he brought the jewel back to prove his innocency and to restore his integrity. So also in our lives, many times our integrity will be questioned. Our faithfulness to our purpose and to serve our Gurudev, to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission, to serve the Lord, will be put into question. And we need to persevere. Now another point I would like to mention in this quest for integrity, and it's just been occurring to me this last few weeks as I'm reading, is deep inside of us there's a subconscious, profound fear or a tendency for self-preservating, for holding who we are. And that instinct is warning us not to go close to God. So we maintain our identity. That instinct for self-preservation is stopping our proximity to our tendency to approach God. And deep inside, it is just appealing us not to surrender to God, making us believe that we are not worthy of His love. This is something very deep within all of our hearts. We all have this insecurity that we are not worthy to approach God. No, He's the Almighty. I'm just an insignificant soul. I should not disturb. But it's our rightful claim. And I notice how many times throughout my life this instinct of self-preservation has worked against my desire to serve and has anchored me from achieve my real potential. It's holding on like a weight, that insecurity, that instability to approach God, that we feel we don't deserve it. And the most preoccupying thing is that is stopping the chanting from having effect. Is the potency of the holy name is going on the insecurity, but is holding on like a shell around our heart, stopping us to hear the Nanam, Harinam. And so, because we are insecure of approaching God, it might happen that sometimes we use our sadhana as a shield to avoid to surrender. And we use the mask, with the mask of pretender that I am a sincere devotee. I'm doing the practice. We many times cover our real open-hearted to receive Krishna's mercy through His holy name. By the shell of pretender, we create a lifestyle sometimes where we feel we are sincere, we feel we are going on the path, but it's still remaining as a shell, because our real openness and our willingness to approach God has not been revealed yet, has not opened yet. And it's our willingness that will make the difference. So we do have unresolved insecurity to approach God to an extent or other, and it is overcome by the soul's will to overcome it and to really approach God through prayer, through really hearing. So there's a few points I will conclude with, just in relation with what I understand integrity to be. And there's 4 points for me that integrity means. The first one, devotional integrity means to remain faithful to one's revealed purpose. To remain faithful to what Guru told us to do. And we hold on to that. And we have unflickering determination to satisfy his heart, to fulfill the heart of our Gurudev. So integrity is putting all the facilities, all the qualities that we are gifted with by birth or by life, by guna or by karma, and use that as a one whole instrument of devotion. Integrity of purpose means to be ready to avoid everything and everyone that opposes or puts in danger our particular mission. Bhaktivedanta Thakur sings, I don't know exactly the words, but in one of his songs he's saying, to those who don't love Radha, I do not dare even look at them. Don't even look at them. So many times we'll be challenged in our integrity, our values will be put into question, even by Vaishnavas, because they are strengthening us. So we must know when to avoid that, to avoid those who are harming our relationship with Guru, who are directly insulting our faith to Guru. And to those, we should not even look at their faces. Integrity means to hold in the crate of our hearts one only space where the object of our worship exists and where he remains in all situations. Integrity means that wherever we go, whoever we are with, whatever our occupation is, we remain devoted to worship that one object, that one personality in our hearts. All of us have different objects of worship according to our rasa, but that will never change. And integrity means we hold on to that regardless who we are with, wherever we go. We are integral to that worship. And spiritually integrity, spiritual integrity goes beyond logic. Many times there's no reason for what to do what we are doing, but our deep faith and commitment to the purpose that we were gifted with. And sometimes it goes beyond rules and regulations. because its foundation is in spontaneous attraction to serve Lord Gauranga and to please the heart of our Gurudev. So these are my humble contribution on the understanding of integrity. I hope it might give us a light on the path, and that we may all gradually approach that space of wholeness where we are in direct relationship with the residents of Goloka Vrindavan, and where we can serve them eternally. I don't know if there's any questions, contributions, chastisements. I need some of those sometimes. It's up to you. Yeah. Yeah. It is an anartha. Anartha means undesirable things. So this is definitely undesirable. So it is an anartha. And why it is there, in my understanding, our faith is broken. Our willingness and through devotion to approach God, and especially that feeling of worthiness, I think is a lot about that. Is deep inside we don't feel we are worthy. We are doing all this practice, and we are perfecting ourselves, purifying, but deep down, I'm not worthy. I'm not. Krishna is the supreme God. I'm not worthy. So we have that. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point.
One is skepticism.
We don't know if he exists.
The supreme energy of this world, being part of one karma, thinking that Krishna comes. When you come to this world, he takes on like we common reaction.
Oh, we think Krishna to be a common man.
Yeah, exactly.
So the first one is skepticism, and the second one is we think Krishna to be a common man. Oh, we minimize him, yeah. We don't have faith on the Supreme Lord, okay. Okay, we think the soul is from the material world. Okay. And the fifth is lack of mercy. You have not received the mercy. So this gives us a more detailed and technical understanding of why we don't feel worthy of God. Because we do have that envy, and we don't have the proper conception of tattva, of what is the soul, who is God, and what's our relationship with God.
I was thinking about not being worthy. Would that be a surface, something that's more superficial on the surface?
Yeah.
We don't have attachments or desires, material desires, so it could be a way of rationalizing to make us feel better as well, that we think maybe
Yeah. It's a good point. Good point. Good point. Yes. So behind that shell of unworthiness and that so pretended humility, there's a deeper attachment that is being safeguarded by that guard of. I think it's a good point, and it makes sense. Now the question is, what are those attachments we are holding on, which make us feel unworthy, which covers us with that, and that layer of unworthiness is also making us stay, like you say, in that pretended level of humility. And so we do service and we do things not feeling fully worthy of receiving the mercy of what we are giving. And behind that we are holding on to our so-called self. We are envious of Krishna. I think that's why also you mentioned those 5 points. All these conceptions I have not fully realized, but is a good question what those attachments are that are linking us. Ultimately the soul is pure, and is also the point that allows us to go beyond, is to understand that in a pure mind, our natural state is to be in communion with God, is to be in relationship with God, in exchange with God and His associates.
Also the other point is, we listen to the wrong people.
Mm.
In the past time we go around, you see that the Keke and Mantara, right?
Yeah, you told me today.
If Keke, Mantara instigated Keke to
Yeah.
ask his 2 boons from Dasra, as she said in the previous times, with her hand she stopped the wheel or something. And that's really 2 boons. She had taken away. So mantra instigating Keke, the sun bird is gone. So the understanding is they don't want Bharat to become king.
Mm-hmm.
So the way you do that, you banish him down to the forest of 14 years.
Yeah, 1 boon. Yeah.
So you can use those boons to do that.
Okay. 1 to send him to the forest, and the second one to put Bharat in the ruling position.
If Keke went to Dasa directly, he would have got it resolved. Dasa would have explained everything. Everything would have been okay.
Yeah.
But the fact that she's engaging with someone who's not properly situated,
Yeah.
then all these things happen, the complications can.
That's a good point.
So we have to listen to Guru Sadhu Shastra.
Yeah. The source of our hearing is influencing our conception of life. Yeah. Yeah. Scriptures. It's a very helpful tool. Yeah. Yeah. I think by hearing from the proper sources, our heart's attachments, the anarthas, become shattered. They are cut by the words of the sadhu. So the attachments underlying that insecurity, that lack of worthiness to approach God, the attachment to I am this body, the attachment to God is too high, or the attachment to being envious of God, all these present anarthas in the heart will gradually be shattered by the words of the pure devotee. So that's our medicine. Our illness is that we are attached, we are envious. And my point today was a bit to give light to those shadows, which are many times hidden in our subconscious. Because it's good to see, I feel unworthy of God. I'm avoiding God in a way. So my purpose today was to give light to that, to help us see that we are still hiding in our closet reasons, so which we don't need to surrender to God, or why we're not worthy to surrender to God. And then the medicine, which is proposed by Srinivas Prabhu, is reminding us, which is to hear from the proper sources. So our disease is that we feel unworthy, and we think we are this body, and the medicine is Harikatha. If we hear the pastimes of the Lord from the mouth of pure devotee, and if we chant the holy names of the Lord, then naturally the material attachment with the heart will be cut. And the only thing remaining is our sincere devotion to please Sri Krishna and Sri Gauranga. So we must hear Harikatha and find those pure souls who can impart it into our knowledge. I think that's also a very important point. Any other points?
Yeah, it's like according to your sincerity, then Krishna will guide you. When you say God helps us build himself, so it's like that.
Yattamam prapadyante tam statav bhajamyaham. As I surrender the giving accordance.
The devotee is always there, but how open are you for the mercy? This is the question.
Yeah. And it's also one point I presented is when we start examining our integrity, when we start looking at the points we are duplicit with our purpose, or looking at the points we are hiding from our consciousness. When we start examining what I'm lacking, why the holy name is not piercing through my heart, we need to put ourselves that question regularly. And when we do, that question is the crack in our subconscious that allows for mercy to come through. When we question, why does the holy name is not cleaning my heart? What am I not changing? What is wrong in my practice? When we ask those questions with a sincere preoccupation about our spiritual wealth, health, mercy comes in. The heart opens. That cracked belief that I'm the body, I'm this thing, it opens a bit. And mercy comes in.
By chanting the holy name, you get to understand, you get the vision after seven maximum spirit.
Yeah.
That vision comes into once you're holy name.
Yeah. We get
That's
to.
not easy.
No.
In the beginning stage, you go to anartha-nivriti.
Yeah.
So you get that stage, you go to nishta, from faith.
Then you separate matter from spirit.
So for that, you have to practice seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Anartha-nivriti is a long stage, it doesn't come quickly. It takes some practice. But it can't become quicker if you're serious in your chanting.
chanting is the key. Now another point is, yeah. Yeah. Another point is this is material conception of life and spiritual conception of life are like two wheels. And they do not overcross. You cannot be in the middle. Or you are in one, or you are in the other. Or you are in Maya, or you are in Krishna. You cannot be in between.
It's like having two legs on two boats.
Yeah, exactly. It's impossible. Or you are in one mechanism, or you are in the other. So, yeah, coming to that platform of Nishta is to being firmly fixed in what is spiritual, understanding what is material. And there needs to be a very clean, clear-cut line. And as I said before, to those who come to us, trying to somehow grab us into that wheel of material ways of living, we should completely avoid them. And that's integrity. That's a full fixedness to our purpose, is everything which is outside of that sphere of spiritual existence, we avoid. And this is a essential point of integrity. Also, once we have surrendered to spiritual life, we cannot surrender to anything else. So we need to make that step, and we need the courage to look into the shadow. I think, for me personally, it's been a great key in the transformation happening in my heart, is the willingness to see the dirt. And it's not just dirt like dust, it's like rottening, decomposing vegetables, It's very dirty, very not nice to look at, very hard-hearted. So our willingness to look at that is a key for fast progress in the chanting of the holy name. Because those dark things are what are stopping us to hear, is what is stopping the holy name to enter. So if we know what are those shadows, those rotten things, and we can somehow, if we just acknowledge them, the holy name will shine on them, will clean them more powerfully.
Well, Bhaktivedanta Manor is very simple. It says, yourself, those who are free from lust, and even from ignorance.
Good point.
Very simple.
Good point. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Seva ki jai. A question that came to me, it's not fully related, that's why I didn't ask.